I just love how we seemingly look like we got it all together as a collective. We have the good job on paper, the nice apartments, and a decent car, but we're all literally just one flat tire away from not eating for the rest of the week.
Everybody's saying a breakthrough is coming. Just wait on it. I know things are bad. Just wait on it. I'm going to tell you right now, y'all ain't got much time left before I start doing crime. I should not have to be holding my breath with my chip inserted, trying to see if this $5 worth of gas is going to go through or not, and then having a sigh of relief because there's a line behind me. My car does not have insurance, does not have gas, and the AC don't work.
With the cost of groceries right now, I think I'm gonna have to start selling pictures of my butthole online. I don't know what else to do here.
So I'm seeing a lot of content where the baby boomers and some millennials and some Gen Xers are complaining about Gen Zs tapping out and how lazy they are and so on and so forth. And I'm here to tell y'all that, and I'm speaking to you Gen Z people, I am probably one of the very few people who thinks that y'all tapping out and giving up, or whatever you want to call it, is genius as fuck.
What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Hope, and we're back with another video. Today we're going to be getting into the part 2 of everybody giving up because of this insane cost of living epidemic. We're talking about every generation is being affected here, from boomers, millennials, all the way to Gen Z. Everybody in between is getting hit by what's going on right now in the US economy and the world economy. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we cover all of this right now, making sure everyone stays laced up. If you do want to go ahead and make sure you are staying informed of what's going on in the economy, please make sure you comment down below, subscribe, and definitely like it, because we got to push this into the algorithm to make sure everyone is aware. Let's go ahead and hop into this right now, starting off with this clip here.
Whew, okay. As a 32-year-old millennial something who has consistently house hacked, lived with other people, went home, lived with my parents, currently live with someone now, and always worked full time, had 2 degrees, for all intents considers themselves a professional, like did what I was expected to do, and still always stressed and always worried about finances and income. They lied. They lied to us. And I often ask myself, okay, what are you going to do? And so I ask you all, what are you going to do? We cannot continue to live the same way. We're not going to get the benefits and the privileges of past generations. So what are we going to do to take care of ourselves?
Proof millennials have it the hardest.
Millennials will be the first generation since the 1800s that are worse off than their parents in American history. We are overeducated, overworked, lonely, depressed, and poor in almost every metric across the board. First off, will be? No. Millennials are the first generation since the 1800s, okay? It's not will. We are already feeling this way, okay? I can attest to this as a millennial. And I mean, I'm like in the middle, purebred millennial. I feel this in my heart and in my soul, okay? Definitely overeducated, overworked, can be lonely sometimes. I've been depressed more times than I can count. Definitely been poor these days, and it's sad compared to other generations that were before us. Unfortunately, we're just not doing as well as they were, but we did live through a lot of unprecedented events, okay? And we were told this dream, the American dream, that is technically a scam. You're supposed to graduate from college, find a great job, find you a husband, have some kids, and have the perfect life. But that's not how, and buy a house, which none of us can afford. It's just not, it's not in the cards for a lot of us. Some of us, have all the good things and all the bad or whatever, but a lot of us, we're like this, okay? Struggling. The struggle bus is real out here.
All right, so we're going to actually do it a little bit different here. We're going to kick it off here with millennials. So did you know that millennials are the first generation since the beginning of the Empire of America that are going to have it worse than their parents' generation? The millennials are the first ones to actually have an experience that. Gen Z, we're not even getting started on Gen Z yet, but if millennials are the first one to taste this, Imagine what Gen Z and then Gen Alpha is having to deal with coming up behind them. All right, so top comment here. I own a small business and had to take $100,000 worth of debt in order to survive. I'm going to say the C word. And this insane inflation these last few years. I've been able to pay it down to about 80%, about 80,000. But at this rate, I need to pay $1,200 a month for the next 7 years. 7 years in order to pay it off. And that's assuming I don't experience my third once in a lifetime financial crisis and my 33 years on this rock. Man, just millennials are going through it right now and they're struggling, and it's not nice out here. I mean, every generation is struggling, but to know the statistical fact that the millennials are the first ones to taste this, that the American dream was officially cut off with them, the next generation isn't doing better than the last generation, man, tough stuff. If you want to go ahead and make sure that you are featured in the next upcoming video comments, please drop a comment below and I will be picking some of the top comments there. So last comment here, I felt this ever since I was a teen. I was born in 1990. I knew our future as millennials was doomed. It was gonna forever be a long fight to the end just to win. Yeah, honestly, I mean, whew. I grew up around a lot of millennials. I'm not a millennial myself, but I was a cutting edge at the very start of Gen Z. So I grew up around a lot of millennials, and I can see the results of the heavily indoctrination of you need to go to college and where we are now in this economy, in this society, and it's tough, man. But I'm not going to harp too much on that. That's millennials. Now let's go ahead and hop into Gen Z and how they're feeling, how they're doing.
This generation is so depressed because everybody's third place is social media. Our parents' generation and our grandparents' generation, everybody had 3 places: work, home, and social settings. And nobody's social setting or third place back in the day was Instagram or TikTok. Back in the day after work, people would go to a pool hall, a bar, a golf course, and actually converse and hang out face to face. These social interactions gave everyone a sense of community and a sense of identity outside of their house and outside of work, which is what we need as humans. But our generation has replaced these social gatherings with Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And social media is the opposite of healthy. Face-to-face interactions literally make you happier, less depressed, less anxious. Social media amplifies your anxiety, amplifies your depression, and makes you sadder. Instead of seeing the same 10 friends every day after work, you're now consuming the opinions and the lives of thousands of people at a time on social media. Our brains are not wired to keep up with thousands of people's lives on social media. It's too much. Not to mention, everyone's social media is a highlight reel. You're comparing your entire day to someone's best moment of the entire day. Of course you're going to feel anxious. And not to mention, everyone on social media is toxic. People say things on social media that they would never say to you face to face, which is why we need to bring back in-person third places, make the bar great again after work, make the pool hall great, make book clubs great again. No more social media.
42% of Gen Z have a diagnosed mental health condition. Why is that significantly higher than any other generation? Here's a quick timeline of why I think that's so high. The first Gen Zs were born around 9/11, a time of great mistrust and uncertainty in this country. As kids, practicing school shooting drills was a regular thing. Then in 2008, we witnessed the Great Depression and saw loved ones lose their jobs. Then as prepubescents, we were handed iPhones and social media, which turned into addiction and decrease in social in-person interaction. Then most Gen Z spent their peak times of high school or college during COVID. Have you noticed the theme of uncertainty yet? And now Gen Z's entering the workforce where they can't get a job, can't pay rent, and can't afford groceries. Gen Z is not lazy. They are reacting to the set of circumstances that was handed to them, which explains why.
You want to know why it seems like millennials and Gen Z are just the most depressed generations ever? It's because we are. But there's a real reason for that. Millennials and Gen Z are honestly the first 2 generations to see the bullshit for what it was. And not only that, we're the first 2 generations to actually speak out against the bullshit. Like me, for example. I'm a millennial. I'm a younger millennial. I was born in 1991, which essentially is just 6 years before Gen Z. We were the generation that were told by our Gen X and Boomer parents that if you go to college, get a degree, you graduate, you get a good job, that's all you gotta do, right? So we said, all right, cool. We went to college. We got our degrees and we started to graduate in the late 2000s and early 2010s. And those degrees didn't mean a damn thing. As a result, we looked at our Boomer and Gen X parents like, why the fuck did you lie to us like that? It's not their fault. They technically didn't lie to us because the reality of when they were growing up, yes, degrees actually mattered. In fact, a lot of our parents got turned down for jobs because they didn't have degrees. They just didn't know that the world would change right as they were telling us that. Bro, we are really the transitional guinea pig generation. Like when I was born, VHS and cassette tapes were popular. But when I graduated college, we had already started to transition into fully digital media libraries. Literally everything ended and began with my generation. Millennials grew up with so many promises that we all thought we were gonna be straight if we just followed the formula. That was never the case, bro. So now, here we are in our early 30s, mid 30s, late, some of us even in our early 40s now, still on own homes, still in apartments, still kind of just winging it in life. And it's even crazier is the fact that the government still sees millennials as children, not realizing that the oldest millennial is in their fucking 40s, bro. We're depressed because we're in a stagnant state. You know what I'm saying? We have not been able to grow. Most millennials' lives honestly have not changed over the last 10 years. You might make a little more money than you did back in 2014, but your living circumstances and all that kind of shit, most likely, it ain't really changed much. Still living in an apartment. You either got the credit score for a house, but you don't got the income, or you got the income, but you don't got the credit. And then with the interest rates being so crazy, it's honestly cheaper to rent a house than it is to buy one. Not to mention that millennials and Gen Z are the generations that just been bombarded with information for our entire lives. Like, yes, awareness is good, but listen, man, too much of anything is a bad thing, and too much awareness definitely takes a toll on your mental health, man. Like everyday war, genocide, famine, gas prices, interest rates, job market. We know too much is overwhelming. Everything's expensive now. When I was in college, I used to go to McDonald's and get a McDouble, a McChicken, a large fry, and a sweet tea for $5.35. I put that same meal in my McDonald's app cart the other day. That motherfucker was $12. And our parents had the audacity to ask us, did we have McDonald's money back in the day? Motherfucker, you mean $4? So yeah, man, if it seems like millennials and Gen Z are just the most depressed and cynical ass generations, it's because we are, for a lot of valid ass reasons. None of us know what the hell going on. We just out here winging it, man.
I definitely do like about these clips is that it's the truth. Gen Z and millennials alike, they're both are fed up with the BS. They know they've been lied to so much and the world changed so fast that, which again, I will give grace, it wasn't technically lying when our parents in our older generation was giving us the advice of going to college because they did need it, like it was mentioned in this clip. But because everything changed so fast and it wasn't updated, there was a lot of people was still getting that outdated advice. And so now, getting into where we are 2024, I feel like the millennials and Gen Z, we're getting older in age and we're like, nah, this is some BS. We gonna definitely call this out. We're not going for none of this. If we got to shut down the system, we're gonna shut down the system. All right, so top comment here. This is why I said millennials don't have midlife crisis. Our whole life is a crisis. Is that how y'all feeling, millennials? Please drop a comment below. Do you feel like this if you're a millennial? Is the whole life a crisis? No midlife crisis? I mean, shit, I feel like all these generations is having crisis. But all right, let's go ahead and hop into the next comment. But please drop it down below. I do want to read that and see how y'all feeling. All right, so next comment we have, we was told we couldn't make money playing video games. Look now. Oh, y'all heard that? Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's what I love about this generation in 2024. It is a struggle and it's very hard, but it has never been easier to make money in anything that you want to do. Again, I'm going to plug myself, Patreon below, but it has never been easy to make money shooting a video, doing anything online, doing anything that makes fun for you. There's an audience for it. You just got to tap in and be willing to go ahead and present content for the audience and make some money. All right, but let's go ahead and top into the last comment here of this video. US older millennials aren't depressed. We're just surviving barely. So, millennials, y'all not depressed? Y'all just trying to survive? I mean, I guess depressed is a very loaded word, and I don't like to just throw that out, but there are a lot of people who are very low right now in these generational gaps of millennials and Gen Z. I mean, oh, hold on. I'm not going to leave out the boomers because we're going to talk about the boomers next. Actually, let's go ahead and hop into it. But please, if you're a millennial or Gen Z, please comment down below and let me know how you're feeling.
Did you guys see that video of that Florida couple? The husband is 77 and the wife is 66. And they were forced out of retirement simply because they ran out of money. So now he's working as a 77-year-old electrician and she's working as a 66-year-old legal administrator. And they're both earning about $14 an hour or something like that in these current roles. But, you know, it got me to thinking. I was looking at the comments on that video, and it ranged anywhere from, oh, they didn't save and they didn't prepare, to all the way to the large corporations put Americans in this situation. And to that I say it's a little bit of both, right? Because pensions are now a thing of the past. So it's on us to figure out our retirement planning, and it has to start so early on. And one thing the man said in that video or that documentary is that nobody told them or taught them or guided them into saving and planning for retirement.
This is truly heartbreaking because nobody likes to see older people having to go back to work because of the way the economy is and they're not able to live on fixed income. Like, it sucks to see boomers out in the workforce. They should be retired, enjoying their lives. Now, again, I know we like to say because of the advice that they gave us and millennials and Gen Z, it affects us, and so forget them, that's what they deserve. But no, nobody truly wants to see older people having to force to go back to work because this economy is backwards. And I think that that is truly reflective in the society that we're in. If we can do anything to help, actually, I have a feel-good story here. Let me go ahead and line this up, this video here, about how younger kids saw an older gentleman working because he had to out of retirement, and this is the result of what they did for him.
This is Mr. James. 2 months ago, he was forced to come out of retirement at 80 years old and return to work as a high school janitor. His rent had recently gone up around $400 and he simply couldn't afford to live anymore without working. But a couple of students at his school, saddened that he was having to pick up trash and clean up after people, things no 80-year-old should have to do, decided they had to do something. Starting a GoFundMe titled Getting Mr. James Out of the School, the 3 students, Grayson Thurman, Marty Yusko, and Banner Tidwell, wanted to raise $10,000 to help Mr. James retire again. But to their shock, they reached their goal in just 12 hours, mostly from student donations. And after Grayson made a TikTok about Mr. James' situation, and a couple of news stations also picked up on the story, the money just kept flooding in. Just over a week later, they had reached over $270,000 donated from people all across the US. That number would have actually been even higher, but Mr. James asked for the fundraiser to be paused after reaching such a ridiculous amount. Because of the kindness of over 8,600 donors, Mr. James will likely be able to retire once again and live a lot more comfortably than he had before.
Seeing moments like these give me hope in society that they actually do care about everybody living on this earth, especially when we're seeing our older generation struggling because they're on a fixed income and prices are rising on everything. So that's so nice to see. Let me go ahead and hop into these comments because that's heartwarming. A little light here when everything is seeming like it's kind of hard. All right, so top comment here we have, Mr. James doesn't know what the cost of living is. I wouldn't have stopped anything. Please let me know your honest thoughts. Would you have stopped that donation from running up the numbers if you were Mr. James and you were starting to get $200,000 coming in? Like, let me know. Would you have stopped it? Is $200,000 enough for this old man to go ahead and actually retire on? Let me know your thoughts. All right, and then the last comment here we have, when I was in high school, the special eds class was the one that picked up the trash from the school. Oh, wow, they had the special ed kids. Is that how it was for y'all? Did they just have the special ed kids is out here doing the work, janitor's work? And please let me know, comment down below. This is interesting. I didn't expect to see that comment, but all right, we are here. Welcome to 2024, folks. So we're seeing all the generations going through this and people are just fed up. I mean, what do you do when the American dream was always supposed to do better than your next generation or the previous generation? And then have a home, financial home, have a nice financial foundation for your future. When trying to buy a house or thinking about buying a house right now seems like a pipe dream. Most people are just trying to survive day to day. Trying to save up 30 or 50K to put down on a house is just, and the wildest imaginations of people right nowadays. And so to see this, it's sad. It really is. I mean, who knows? I'm hoping that we are getting to a point to where in the next couple of years, home affordability will be a thing again and more houses will be built and the economy will pick up and will be flourishing again. And everybody will be able to eat. That is absolutely the goal. But it is very important. Just because you are able to afford a home or buy a home doesn't necessarily mean that's the best for you. Now, I do have a video if you want to go ahead and watch that. I'm going to link it up here. going over the buyer's remorse, or people regret buying their homes. Ooh, it sucks. Yes, we always talk about the good things, but never the bad. So let's go ahead and hop on that video if you do want to see that. Other than that, it's been real, YouTube. Absolutely real. I appreciate all the time that you spent here. If you do have any other thoughts, please leave them below. Like, please, let's get this spread into the algorithm, and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. And YouTube, y'all be real.